guess it is Thursday afternoon. Had 3 really good days of practice, a lot of good energy, and excited to watch our guys go play. Been waiting for the ACC start for a while, so had a good week, and be interesting to see what happens. We got a good football team coming in. I know that they're athletic, they run well, and I think they're really good.
You mentioned about starting ACC play. This is the second year in a row you've had this schedule where you get your 4 non-conference games in September, and it's just conference games the rest of the way. Do you like that kind of sort of flip a switch where it's not like you're like playing one game in the second week of the season and then you have Notre Dame in like the middle of October or something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't set the schedule, and we'll play them whenever. If you have 2 games in the ACC game, whatever. I know the SEC sometimes plays a game like game 11. Or 12, they play, a cupcake game late in the year. I've looked at that, and I don't know if I like that either. If I had my preference, I'd like to go to the preseason and then go into ACC if I was asked.
2 of the explosives you guys gave up last week, it looked like on tape that was Bengali Kamara who kind of came out of his position on the long touchdown run, and then there was the over-the-middle touchdown pass. If you can remember, would you agree on those assessments, and what does Bengali have to do to keep getting better?
Yeah, that wasn't Bengali.
Okay.
It wasn't Bengali on the big run. Was really John Morgan, the left end, and P.J. O'Brien are the 2 factors. It was formation in the boundary. We like the DN to be a little tighter and make that hole a little bit smaller, and we'd like the safety to be a little bit better than what he was. But you live and learn. Put guys in there, expect them to make plays, and John's not used to playing a lot to the field. He's usually in the boundary, so you're just kind of juggling things around a little bit. That was one of, what was the other one?
The touchdown pass one where it kind of broke over the middle, the late one that they got.
The late one over there, that was Bengali. That was Bengali for sure, based on the formation. The pressure wasn't as good, but yeah, Bengali could have been a lot better in that coverage for sure. But I think if he was where he needed to be, lined up, different formations, different things, and we don't run a ton of that, but he could have picked it off or knocked the guy out.
What does he have to do to get better? Because it's obvious he's a great athlete.
Yeah, it's details every play. It's consistency. He makes good plays, and that's one play, and late in the game on different route that sometimes you don't see. You can't practice everything. So those are all things. You put that on coaches, put it on him. He knows what he's got to do, and he got too much depth too. He was just too deep. It's a 3 deep. It's a 2 under. Move and go, and he's usually pretty good at that.
And how willing have your receivers been to block, and how do you think they've done at it?
They've done a really good job. Those big runs don't get sprung if those guys aren't doing a good job. So the receivers have done an outstanding job blocking, and I've been happy with the effort and the selflessness that they showed there.
What's your overall level of satisfaction with the defense so far?
You know what? When you look at explosive gains, you give up a couple, as Chris is mentioning. 3 of the last 3 games, man, you win a lot of games like that. So, overall, and again, just with the different guys that have been on the field at different times, we've been a little shorthanded. I'm happy with where they are right now.
Do you think Keaton was able to kind of continue to get settled in? Did he look more comfortable to you as the game went last week?
I think so. I think he was comfortable, at the beginning of the game and as it went on. I don't see any discomfort out of his play, and I think he just you look at it, he's played 6 quarters up until last week, so he hadn't played a lot of football in a long time. I'm happy with where he is. Got to get the ball out and protect himself.
I think it was after the West Virginia game the following Monday. He said you need to get Jalen Barden more involved, get him just more involved in the offense. He hasn't seen a whole lot in the 3 weeks since then. What does he need to do better to get more involved in the offense?
Just be more consistent and make sure he's taking care of the details. It's what it comes down to. He's a great athlete, and I want him to play more. I'm hoping he had a good week of practice this week where we can get him on the field more. So let's hope we see more Jalen Barden, and again, it's just taking care of the details of practice every day and give max effort.
As the guys start trickling back into the lineup, some of the injured guys, do you expect a dramatic improvement in the defense?
Are you not happy with the defense? I'm not getting all these defensive questions.
Doesn't matter what I think, Pat.
Again, it's week by week. The games keep getting better. And as guys trickle back in, I would imagine if you have all your starters back, that you're always going to look a little bit better. We'll get more sacks for you.
How do you guys attack Georgia Tech's defense this week? Last week you guys talked about Rhode Island backing you guys off. Is there a different balance you got to go at it this week?
It's taking what they give. We'll find out how they play us. That's what we don't know. We'll find out how they play you, and You know, that's what we're looking from the sideline, from the press box. Hey, what are they doing today? You know, what's their game plan? I would imagine they're going to try to, you know, they're going to try to put as many guys in the box as possible. They don't play a lot of quarters like we do, but the way to stop it is to jump into quarters, and then you give up, you know, something else in the passing game. So we'll see what they do with that defense.
Is that Frank's mentality, you know, take what they give us, or is that just always kind of been the way, you know, your offenses have ran here, where, you know, we'll go based off of what the matchup shows rather than this is the strength of our team, we're going to try to impose it against the opposition?
I would think that's how offenses are run across the country. I mean, if they have everybody lined up in the box and they don't cover the receivers, like we should throw it to the receivers. If in turn they're doubling both receivers and they're putting everybody out of the box, I think we run the ball. So it's all based on what you're seeing on tape and then what you're going to see on game day. I mean, everything is dictated off of what they're doing and how they're playing you. Everything. That's why we sit in the office all day and try to figure it out. And then you guess, and again, we'll see different stuff. I mean, they've got to be able to. They got to try to stop the run. They have to. So we'll find out what they do, how they do it, and then we'll, you know, we got answers for everything. I mean, you look at a call sheet, you got, sometimes you only call half the plays, maybe not even half the plays on your call sheet, but you have answers for everything based on what they do.
Go ahead, Clark.
For as well as Izzy's running, you've also gotten really strong contributions from Vincent Davis, especially over the last couple of weeks. What have you seen from him that's been able to kind of feed off of what Izzy's doing as a compliment back?
I love Vince Davis, and you know, I love him more and more every week it goes by. He's just so unselfish. He doesn't care as he's getting the carries. He'll have a big role every week, and we just keep, you know, he's got a great attitude, and you know, he's doing things the right way. So, you know, we'll just keep getting him involved in everything. I mean, he'll get involved.
How do you guys practice your reps throughout a week when, you know, say you're expecting one thing, but a defense throws something else at you, and you know, say they're pressing you more. Hey, it's the deep game this week, guys, and maybe you guys repped a lot more of run game and shorter passes. How do you adjust for that?
You go back to your previous knowledge, all the things you saw and worked on during camp, and I mean, you can't work it all. I mean, we can only, you know, we get 20 hours a week with the guys, and you can't prepare for everything. You gotta, you know, sometimes you gotta guess right. You know, it's the same thing on offense and defense. I mean, same thing defense. We don't know what they're gonna do. You prepare for different things. You go back. I mean, they seem to be a kind of a copycat offense, so we've gone through and run a bunch of plays from what we've seen in the first 4 games of things that they might copycat. So you're looking at me, people go, oh, that worked against them. Let's put that in this week. You know, we try to gauge, are they a copycat team or are they not a copycat? What did they do last year? What's this guy done in the past, whether it be at Tulane or when he was at Notre Dame? So we look at everything, just trying to, but you're guessing. You know, that's why I said our kids have to go based on their knowledge, offensively and defensively, because you're going to see different stuff you did not prepare for, period. Whether it's an opener, which you know you're going to see more stuff then compared to a game that they've got 5 or 6 days to prepare for.
When you've watched the film this season and beyond and before, what have you seen out of Jeff Sims? You know, how's he grown? Is he the same guy you faced last year, or how has he changed?
He is. Yeah, I really like. I think he's a talented young man, and he's starting to get old. Is this his last year? Has he got another year after this? He is talented. Probably does. You know, he's tall, he's long, he's rangy. He can throw the ball. I mean, you'll watch him. He can throw it. I mean, he can make all the throws. And you know, and he can scramble in the pocket. If he doesn't like what he sees, you better be able to keep him in the pocket. So he can hurt you with his feet when he scrambles, and he can hurt you with the arm. So we've got to change things up on him, confuse him a little bit as far as what we're doing with him, and not make it easy on him. Because if he sees you in cover 3, he's gonna shoot it out there to number 1, and he can fire it out there and get it to him quick.
Is his initial scramble to still look downfield, or is he look to run pretty early?
He looks to run pretty. I mean, he's going to look, and if he doesn't like it, he trusts him. I mean, they trust his legs. They're telling him to go. I mean, I think it's being coached hard that, you know, your first read's not there where you thought you wanted to go, just take off and run. I think that's what they do, and it's worked. I mean, you watch the 3rd down long tape, just put it on. It's like, you know, half him, you know, he's throwing it or he's taking off running, one or the other. And there's not a whole lot of going from here to there to there, not going to his 3rd progression.
Their pass defense has been pretty effective so far, just about 200 yards a game so far. What makes them so effective in defending the pass?
You know what, you know, we talk scheme. I mean, they're playing deep. I mean, they're playing a lot of, their favorite is to be cover 3. They're going to try to take away the deep pass. They've given up some things in the run game. So if that's what they want to continue to do, then we hope we can, you know, get our run game going. If they want to try to put those safeties in the box and not play so much 3 deep. So, I mean, they got guys that can cover. They play a, you know, kind of a matched up cover 3, and they do a good job. They're good in pass coverage, and they got athletes to play man-to-man, so they can press you up and play you.
Did you notice a different buzz at practice this week because you got an ACC game coming up?
I've noticed it, this week for sure. There's definitely a different little bit of buzz, and again, is it because it's ACC and Georgia Tech, or is it because it's not Rhode Island and it's not Western Michigan? I don't know what that is. You wish they didn't have that, but I've seen a little bit of buzz. Is it this holy cow buzz? No, but it's just a little bit different.
Over the years, have you found a different kind of attitude by the guys when you're winning, going well, as opposed to when you're not going well?
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, the locker was a lot better when you're winning, than when you're losing. Period. I mean, that's a for sure. So it's always easier, to practice and mentally get the guys in when you're winning. It's always tough after a loss. So we got to go to work.
Anything else? Pat, you played at pretty much every conceivable time. Have you found a good routine for Saturday night games as far as how to occupy your time?
Yeah, we have a good routine, which we always have. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a noon game or 7:30, 8 o'clock. We've got a routine that we stick with, and make from 7:30, 8 o'clock to half hour difference. We leave the hotel a little bit later. We have a routine for that, and we should be all set there.
Do you try to make it the same routine home or road? I mean, do you try to make it so it's the exact same experience no matter what?
No question about it. We do the same thing, home or road. It's just different hotel, maybe a different stadium we travel to, but it's all the same.
Last year, Georgia Tech, at least in my eyes, was the game when Kenny Pickett established himself as like hey, watch out, that guy's going to be in the Heisman race. Is there a sense that, like with ACC play starting, that you got Izzy with a lot of numbers, you've got Eric with a lot of interceptions, that there's a few guys who might be putting themselves on more of a national stage now that you're starting conference play?
I think so, but you look at MJ. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I mean, it's opportunities for everybody to make play. It might be someone. We hope it's somebody different this week. I hope Kanate has 18 catches. So it doesn't, every week you don't know who the hero is going to be, and it's not going to be the same guy every week. You hope we have more playmakers, and we're not just zeroing in on 2, or hey, don't throw the ball towards 31. I mean, he dropped one last week. I mean, it should have been another pick six. I mean, you got to make that play. Maybe they don't throw it to 31, but maybe it's Brandon Hill's chance. I mean, they haven't thrown a lot at him, so we'll see. They throw it in the corners. It's time for AJ Woods and Marquez to step up.
Pat, have you ever been a part of a team that had to change
Never.
head coaches? Change head coaches in the middle of the season?
I have not. I've been fortunate enough not to be part of any of that, and I don't. I feel bad for anybody who has to go through that. To be honest with you, it's not easy. I'm sure. But I'm fortunate enough in my career not to have to deal with that at all. And I don't want to have to deal with it ever.
It's a tough profession, isn't it?
It's a tough profession, man. It's rough. It's rough. It's getting rougher. I said this a long time ago, but when they talked about the early sign date, everybody likes Chris, early sign date recruiting guy in December. We said as coaches, if you move the sign date up, coaches are going to be on a shorter leash. And I don't think it's great for the kids. I mean, the players have to go through that after game 3. Or after game 4, it's just a tough deal. And I think there's 3 Power 5 jobs open right now in September, but that's all attributed to the early signing period. If it was still a February signing period, I think athletic departments would think they've got more time to get that recruiting class together. I think that's part of it, and it's not good. So.
You guys have faced your fair share of mobile quarterbacks over the years. I remember Malik Cunningham 2 years ago with Louisville. How do you guys feel with the crew that you have now, the defensive front that's had to keep changing? How do you guys feel like you're prepared to take on guys who look to run first?
We'll find out. We haven't had to deal with that much, depending on who's playing it on the defensive line. So we haven't had to deal with it much. We're gonna find out tomorrow, and see how we fare. But it's a lot better when you got your starters out there. I can guarantee you that. But we always say this: we have to be in kill mode, not capture mode. I think you guys have heard me talk about that before, but. There's 2 modes, like let's keep him in the pocket and get a slow rush, and everybody's like scared that he's going to get out. We're not going to play scared. We're going to go get him. He's a big guy. He's not easy to get down, but we have to go get him. So it's a go get him. It's not a contain him. I hate the contain word.
With MJ earning some more snaps at corner, you got him at punt return last week. What's he been able to do to kind of earn those opportunities for himself and work his way up in the depth charts for all that?
I've been really impressed with MJ. Both special teams wise, punt returner in that corner. I mean, we consider him a starter, period, regardless of how many reps or who's the first guy on the field. But he's been really good. I mean, he just keeps getting better. I mean, that's what you want guys to do, is just keep getting better every day. Since he arrived here from Kentucky, he's been very consistent with what he's put on tape, and again, things he needs to work on, he's gotten better at every week. And So I'm excited where he is. He's got a real chance to be a really good football player. He's got great speed, as you guys see.
What are some of those things that he's worked on?
Worked on his footwork out of corner, just the patience in his coverage when he is pressing. I mean, think about all the press corners we have in the NFL. It's a guy that can run and he can do it. He's gotten more physical. When we first got him, he was not a very physical guy as far as just killer, tackler, or anything like that. But now, we'll put him into the boundary and we can blitz him if we want to. We can. We feel like he can make that play in the box.
The three corners are getting about the same number of snaps?
I think so,
far?
without having it in front of me. But AJ Marquez and Quez didn't play last week, so I would imagine the other guys got more because of that. So we'll see.
Coach, thank you for your
Okay.
time.